Waxing poetic a little bit with radio legend, Hall of Famer icon Bob Levy. WOBM-FM getting ready to celebrate its 50th anniversary, and you, my friend, are the only person that have witnessed all 50.
That's right, which is a good thing and a bad thing. It's sweet and it's sour.
Did you ever think when the radio station started back on March 1st, 1968, it would be what it's become and would have the impact on the community that it's had for so long?
Actually, yes. I account for that with the way the owners went about doing things, and their sharpness, and they were sharp enough to grab a hold of me. You know, I say that kiddingly, but no, I'm not surprised at all.
You know, one of the things that the station has been known for, and you as well, is their endeavors into charitable things, fundraising things.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, we would take an hour to do all of them justice, but there's a couple that stick out, and I just want to talk a little bit about them with you, and that is back-to-back years in the mid-'80s, the station did fundraisers for the United Way of Ocean County. One year you did 40 straight hours. It was 40 hours of top-a-gay, basically by yourself. Mm-hmm. And then the next year, which was 1984, you and I together did 84 and 84. What do you remember about those?
I remember I'm still tired. I'm still exhausted. And you were for a long time also.
Yeah.
And that was it for United Way. Now, United Way was, to me, here, was Barbara Grossman, a lady who I grew up with, literally. She's a few years younger than me, but she was a brilliant girl, always, I remember, in school and so forth. And their success of United Way in those days, I really attributed 90% to her.
You know, I remember when you did the first one by yourself, you talked about those 2 overnights and how difficult they were. I think you at one point said, I thought I was going to die.
Listen, I'll tell you how bad it was. I'm going to say this here. You can get by without sleeping for one night. You can do it, but don't try doing it 2 in a row, because you're going to get sick. I was hallucinating in the last couple of hours of that show. I was sitting there in the Ocean County Mall, and I thought I was in the Holland Tunnel. Don't ask me why. And when it finally ended, and they started presenting me with things for thanks, I didn't want it. All I wanted was to get me out of here. What am I doing here? And I was with someone who led me down off the stage and actually supported me and walked me to the car. And I had eaten non-stop. Now, people knew my love of chocolate. Women were bringing in trays of brownies and chocolate chip cookies, and I never stopped eating. Now, you know, that will give you a headache along with everything else. And so she took me home. My friend took me home, said, all right, I'll go to sleep. I said, no, I'm hungry. She said, what do you want? I said, I want Chinese food. So she went out and she got chow mein or whatever, and I ate all that on top of it.
The following year, you and I did the 84 hours. Either we were both on together or you did time and I did time. And what I remember most about that is we built what we thought was maybe the world's largest sub sandwich in the middle of the Ocean County Mall.
It reached almost the length of the mall.
It reached almost the length, and I remember this. It was TP Subs in La Valette, which is long since gone, the Pasqualetto family. After the mall closed the one night, I think the first night or whatever, they started building it. They worked all night.
Yeah.
You remember that? Mm-hmm. And we sold them for $1 a slice, and then all the money went to the United Way.
Absolutely. It was, and it all got eaten.
Yeah.
It was amazing. It was amazing.
And of course, I do have to ask you about, I think the single greatest thing the radio station ever did in terms of making an impact was the spearheading the effort in 1989 after Hurricane Hugo, which impacted us. But we would find out later, actually through your show, Top of Gay, that it devastated a little fishing village called McClellanville, South Carolina. And we started this thing which began with you as a spur of the moment thing. And It was a monstrosity.
You can't overestimate, and the side stories that went. And I'll do this very quickly now. The caravan, when it had signs all over it, from Lakewood, New Jersey to McClellanville, South Carolina, with Hurricane Aid, and they stopped at this major truck stop, probably the #1 truck stop on the way down to Florida, huge place, for lunch and to gas up. And the owner, of course, saw what was going on, came out, and he said, what's the story? And they told him, I guess it was Glenn Jones or whoever, and he said, it's wonderful. And he told the attendants, there's no charge for anything for these people. Feed them and gas them up and so forth. And when I heard about that, I told people that story, and I said to people, hey, if you're ever traveling down that major highway, I guess route, whatever, and you got to gas up, make a point of stopping there or to eat up. And I'm telling you, it seems like to this day, just never stopped.
I don't remember the number of vehicles that went down. We did a thing for the whole week where people came to our parking lot. We were then located in Bayville, and just dropped off anything and everything. Water, batteries, candles, you name it, clothing. And Beacon's Van Lines in Tuckerton, Ron McQuaid, said, hey, look, I'll provide all the vehicles. And we filled up vehicles, and we left. They left from Tuckerton. And they were parked on Route 9.
I was there with tears in my eyes because I wasn't going.
Yeah, you weren't going. I emceed the departure thing, and I never saw anything. I don't know that anything's ever been done like that. It was amazing. We were on ABC National News. That's how big it was. Incredible. Incredible. I do have to ask you about the origin of Top Gay. I mean, the station's 50 years old. Top Gay is 38. So relative infancy when you started that. Where did that come from?
I came from a vacation. I took 2 weeks in Florida. I used to stay with my father. He had a beautiful apartment in the Diplomat Towers in Hollywood, Florida, next to the Diplomat Hotel. And so I went out to the pool every day, and I had a radio. And flicking around, Miami was the start of talk radio, basically. And I'm going to make this brief. I listened and listened, and I said, not immodestly to myself, I could do better than this. Got home 2 weeks later, went to a board meeting. I used to go to the board meetings even though I wasn't an owner. And I said, listen, I want to tell you a little quick story. I was in Florida and so forth, and I was listening to this talk radio, and it was mostly horrible. Larry King was down there at the time. He was a young guy. He was stiffing everybody, even back then. And I said, I just think I could do better. I think I'd like to do it. And the owners said, hey, go for it. I said, not so fast. I said, we got to work things out. So I did it for, I think it was 3 months with no advertising. And no, I did it for nothing because I said we got to see first of all if I like doing it, if I want to make the commitment to doing it, and most important whether you guys like it. Now, to make a long story short, everything worked out, and I'm still doing it.
Was the first show or two air at night?
Yes.
Am I correct?
Yes.
I thought so.
Started at night, and the first topic I brought it up was a UFO incident in Minnesota that to this day I think was the most amazing, unexplainable UFO incident there ever was. I had the sheriff from up there where it was on, and it was interesting. Yeah.
That was September of 1979. You started.
It really was in September of 1979.
It was because I started working at the radio station in July, and you started Top Gate 2 months later.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
We don't have enough time, but I do want to ask you about, I know one of the things you loved when you were involved in the day-to-day operation was promotions. You were very involved in promotions.
It was my biggest thing.
It was your favorite thing.
Yeah.
And you came up with a lot of great ideas. And I'm not saying that because you're here,
I come up with some bummers too.
some bummers too.
But I thought before you said, I thought the best one was the Halloween parade.
Well, I was going to say that was pretty neat. When the one year you said if we're going to enter as a station in the Halloween parade, we're only going in it to win.
Yeah, well, that was the employees' idea to begin with.
Right.
And so I said we're not going to be embarrassed. You know, we're going to win the
first prize.
Grand prize, and then we did win it. It was
we dressed up. We had aprons on that had the logo, the famous blue and white logo with the seagull on.
Yep.
It said "Serving Ocean County," and we walked down Main Street.
You carry little trays
with radios on them.
Yeah.
When they had little portable radios at that time.
All you peons did. Now you may recall I was the maitre d'.
Boy, oh boy.
Oh, yeah,
Even
remember?
to this day.
Even
to this day, you love to make people feel small.
No. Yeah, we had parents of some of the employees sitting up there making believe they were eating and drinking at the bar.
Yes.
And I was passing out as we went down Main Street by the hundreds. Free something or other to people, you know. And, yeah.
But I'm going to ask you real quick.
Wow.
I think the greatest promotion we ever did in terms of a promotion. How about the car giveaway at the Ocean County Mall? The one, now we did a couple there. No. I'm not talking about the one with the mall. The one with Lester Glen, in which the mall, stores in the mall closed because there were so many people they feared for their security.
Estimated attendance, 6,000. At least
in the mall,
because we had made 6,000 people eligible to win.
Yep, and they had to come there that night. You had to be there.
Yeah.
And I remember when it was over, traffic.
Oh my God!
It was unbelievable.
Yeah. No, and what was the worst part of it, though?
The first person won. The worst.
Yeah. There was there were 5 finalists. 4 attractive young ladies and a guy who appeared to be about 100 years old. Okay? And you whispered to me, you said, I would bet my life the old man's going to win the car. And it was a
Buick. I can't even think of what kind of, it was. I think it was like 1985. It was like 1984, 85 around there. And he was the one that won. And do you remember he came up to the stage with his daughter, who was old herself, and immediately basically said, how much can we sell the car for? He doesn't drive anymore.
That was a heartbreaker, baby. Okay.
Well, we had some fun.
We did.
We had some fun. Thanks for spending a little time with me.
You're more than welcome.